Pairs of Air Force One with toilet paper on his shoe. Trump and Vladimir Putin's first kiss. Feel the president looking directly at the sun during a solar eclipse. And everyone's favorite, our president...
Hamburgers. Did you hear about Alyssa Milano's latest Trump takedown? The actress just dropped a truth bomb so massive it sent Trump into full toddler mode meltdown like someone stole his blankie. But here's the kicker: Milano's not just throwing shade, she's armed with facts sharper than a Jinsu knife. Her tweets are hitting harder than Trump's approval ratings drop. Stick around, because this Hollywood heavyweight's fighting for your rights one zinger at a time, and folks, it's working. Trump supporters are losing their minds faster than cats in a rocking chair convention. Meanwhile, Milano's out here serving up TRS hotter than a jalapeno pizza. She calls out Trump's policies that turn women into second-class citizens, and boom, Twitter explodes. Milano fired back, proving she's got both brains and sass. Trump thinks he's running a reality show. She joked, but guess what? This isn't The Apprentice, it's real-life. Mic drop as the laughter dies down. One thing's clear: while Trump's busy yelling into the void, Milano's sparking conversations that matter. Her hashtags aren't just trending, they're making waves. Advantage common sense, so buckle up, buttercup. Whether you love her or hate her, one thing's certain: Alyssa Milano's not backing down. Next time, maybe Trump will try banning her next instead of responding with Todd logic. Stay tuned, folks. This drama is far from over. I want you all to look around at each other. Really look at each other. Take a moment. You're all still staring at me. Take a look at each other. We're looking. And I want you to realize that this right here, this all of you, this is what democracy looks like. I'm Jane Doe. When I was 17, I crossed the border. I was 17 when I was detained. I was 17. And soon I would learn that I was pregnant, and after they examined me, I asked for the Trump administration tried to stop me. Brett Kavanaugh tried to stop me. Alyssa Milano's been busy comparing Trump's America to The Handmaid's Tale, and folks are wondering, is she just being a drama queen, or is there some truth to her claims? Buckle up, buttercups, because we're diving into Milano's furious tweets, and trust me, number 3 will leave you gasping. So what's got Milano all riled up? She's claiming Trump's policies are turning women into second-class citizens faster than you can say. Commander Fred OOF, that must have stung worse than spray tan in Trump's eyes. But here's the kicker: Alyssa isn't just typing behind a keyboard. Oh no, she's hitting the streets dressed like a handmaid. Talk about commitment to the cause. Who knew protest fash could be so on trend? Meanwhile, Trump's probably sitting in Mar-a-Lago, stress eating cheeseburgers and wondering why everyone hates his brilliant ideas. Spoiler alert: when your leadership makes The Handmaid's Tale look like a how-to guide, people notice as laughter fills the room. One thing's clear: whether you love her or hate her, Alyssa Milano's making waves and keeping us engaged, so stay tuned. Folks, next time, maybe she'll dress as Milano and roast Trump live. Now that would be must-see TV. The president is not fit mentally to be president. Say that. It's not enough. It's not enough. What more could they do there? Basically, members of the hash resistance been having the conversation where this man might be allowed to appoint a second Supreme Court justice. He should not be allowed to appoint anybody. President Trump had to be elected, and I think with that came a sudden fear, an urgent fear in our country that hold on to your red cloaks. Folks, we're diving deep into Trump's policies. First up, Alyssa Milano's got her sights laser focused on the Supreme Court. She's been tweeting that Trump's Picks Gorsuch and Kavanaugh are about to send women's rights back to the stone. Age and honestly Team Uterus isn't looking too optimistic with those guys. In Rhodes, Milano's not just throwing shade, she's pointing out the obvious. These policies aren't just ridiculous. They're dangerous while Trump's busy yelling fake news at anyone who disagrees. Women's rights are quietly disappearing. It's like he's building his own version of Gilead, but instead of red cloaks, it's mega hats everywhere. As the laughter dies down, one thing's clear. This isn't just entertainment. Milano's turning Twitter into a megaphone for real issues, and people are listening, so buckle up, Buttercup. Next time Trump tweets about greatness, maybe remind him greatness doesn't mean taking away choices for what the Clintons were investigated for. Whitewater, they were investigated for Bill Clinton's perjury. Hillary Clinton was investigated for II. Had a secret clearance, well, and the fact he should not be allowed to appoint anybody in the era of the Clintons being federally investigated, if that were enough to stop you from being able to hold off. I don't think anybody would have had her for what the Clintons were investigated for is as potent and valuable as the fact that the President of the United States potentially conspired with Russia, calling Alyssa Milano everything under the sun. But she's not backing down. In fact, she's turning their attacks into a fuel for her fight. It's like watching David take on an army of Twitter Goliaths armed with nothing but a smartphone and sass so sharp it could cut glass. With former Planned Parenthood President Cecil Richardson wrote in Elle magazine, "Kavanaugh must be stopped now. Right before I left Washington, while covering these hearings, I was able to interview Milano, and I began by asking her why spotlight this issue. All right, folks, let's dive into the trenches where memes are flying faster than insults at a family dinner. Forget Milano versus Trump, there's a bigger brawl brewing here. On one side, resist Trump, Milano's battle cry. On the other, mega Trump's loyal army of red hat wearing tweeters. This isn't the Super Bowl, it's more like a free-for-all in the snack aisle. You'd think Trump's supporters would dominate given years of practice yelling "Make America Great Again," or just sad. But hold on to your smartphones. Milano's resistance is giving them a serious run for their money. Her tweets spread faster than gossip at a high school reunion, while Team Mega countered with American flag emojis and cries of fake news. Their fingers must be cramping from all that retweeting. And then there's Hollywood elite jumping ship to join resist Trump. It's like the Avengers assembled, but instead of fighting Thanos, they're battling bad hair and worse policies. The memes, the memes from toddler Trump tantrums to MAGA masterpieces. This is meme warfare at its finest. But here's the kicker: this isn't just harmless Twitter drama. No, this war is actually changing minds. People aren't just scrolling, they're sharing info, engaging with real issues, and getting fired up. Democracy in action, more like democracy in 180 characters. And guess what? The hashtags didn't stay on our screens, they spilled into the streets faster than Trump's ego during a compliment drought. Protesters are trading keyboards for megaphones, and politicians, they're showing up too. Picture CS of red cloaks flooding sidewalks. It's not cosplay, it's protest power. These protests aren't your average sign-waving shindig. They're spreading like wildfire, filled with people who care about rights, justice, and maybe even avocado toast. Big shots are joining in, proving politics isn't just for suits anymore, it's for everyone. So here's the million-dollar question: are these protests making a difference, or just giving Instagram feeds a glow-up? Spoiler Alert, the answer might make Trump sweat. Harder than a snowman in July, those. Handmaid's Tale costumes, not props there. Statements powerful enough to turn heads. And spark change as laughter turns to action. One thing's clear, whether you're Team Milano or Team Trump, this isn't just entertainment, it's a movement. Reshaping how we talk about politics, so buckle up, buttercup, because the circus has gone physical and things are getting wilder than ever. The protests are heating up, and it's not just red cloaks versus red hats, it's a full-blown street showdown. Think Red Rover, but instead of running through linked arms, they're hurling insults and competing for the most savage protest signs. These signs are so brutal, they make Trump tweets look like nursery rhymes. It's like a bunch of comedy writers armed with Sharpies and anger issues took over. I'd share examples, but I don't want to get demonetized faster than you can say fake news. But are these protests actually doing anything? Oh, you bet they're shaking things up more than a White House staff reshuffle. Sure, they're blocking traffic and annoying commuters. Mission accomplished, but they're also forcing people to pay attention. It's like a real-life pop-up ad for women's rights that you can't just click away. And get this, some politicians are actually listening. Shocking, right? It's almost like they remembered they're supposed to represent the people. Wild concept. Now the White House has finally responded, and it's a doozy. They're slapping the fake news label on Alyssa Milano's criticisms faster than you can say alternative facts. It's like they've got a rubber stamp that says fake news, and they're going to town. But the real kicker, they're trying to convince us their policies are pro-women. Yeah, it's like calling a bull in a china shop graceful. The spin is so tense, I'm surprised the press room didn't turn into a cotton candy machine. Picture this: the press secretary sweating more than Trump at a spelling bee trying to defend the indefensible. It's like watching someone try to sell a screen door for a submarine. Meanwhile, the protests keep growing and the pressure's mounting. Will Trump tweet about it at 3 a.m.? Will he claim the crowds are smaller than his inauguration, or will he just call it all fake news and go back to watching Fox and Friends? The suspense is killing me.